Let's know this is not a campaign stop for anyone. This is not a bashing moment. This is to work together to improve the schools in the Leesburg area. So let's let the ground rules be set. We're not here to throw stones at anyone. We're not here to point fingers. We're here to find solutions to the problems that plague our schools. So we're here tonight. We do have our superintendent schools. A lot of our area principals from not just Leesburg, but throughout the district are here. We have so many concerned parents and supporters of schools and children. So we want to make sure I have the city of Leesburg community leaders. Pastor Danny Williams, Pernell Mitchell reached out and said we got to do something to turn our school grades around. So we are here tonight to talk, to dialogue, and most of all to listen as to what we can do to improve the quality of our schools in the Leesburg area. I want to commend everyone for taking the time out of their schedule to be here. We do have a short agenda. There will be a time for questions and answers. We want those to make sure that they're done decent and in order, because at the end of the day, we want to walk away with a format that we all can work together to improve our schools. Dr. Woodard is here. She's going to come. Our superintendent's here. And I think she has a presentation that she would like to present with the area principals. Dr.
Good evening. I am Mary Woolridge, and I'm here to serve as your facilitator moderator for this evening. First, I want to say thank you to all of the persons who have come together to put together such an important forum for our children. Of course, these young people are our future. They actually are our present. And so that is why we actually have taken this time to invest in and to come up with a plan of action to ensure that their futures are positive just as ours have been. And so for all the school board personnel, for the superintendent, for all of the committee that have put this together, for all of you who have come, whether you are parent, grandparent, concerned citizen, thank you so much for coming. At this time, let me just say that some of you have been given a card. On this card, as we are matriculating through the evening, we're asked that if you have any questions, concerns, things that you would like to have addressed, please put this on this card for us. We will have someone that will pick this up. We'll be passing these to the end of the row so that we can take these. This was not just an opportunity for you to get a practice exercise in writing. That's not the purpose. We are really concerned about our children. And everybody's voice here is important tonight. However, we cannot hear everybody's voice tonight. And so we ask if you would share this with us through this card tonight. So if you don't have one and you would like one, someone will be walking down the aisle and they will give you a card at that time. This is just a launching pad. This does not stop to begin tonight and end tonight. This is a launching pad, because our children will continue to grow, they will continue to learn, and we want to ensure that they have the best opportunity, no matter what home they come from, no matter what their socioeconomic status is, no matter what their culture is, their race. We want to ensure that they have the best opportunity to learn, whether their parents are involved, or whether their parents are not involved. We want to ensure that they have the best opportunity to learn. We're not going to do a lot of, well, we are going to do a lot of talking, but we are going to not prolong that. We are going to begin, and our first speaker tonight is going to be Dr. Moxley from the Lake County Public Schools, and of course that is an awesome responsibility and a difficult challenge, but as I understand it, she is living up to the challenge, and we are here to support her in living up to the challenge to ensure that every one of our students get that best educational opportunity. Dr. Moxley.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for taking the time to be here tonight to have a conversation. We are here to join you to talk about our children and their educational program. And again, I thank you for partnering with us. We are here to listen and to learn and to grow and problem solve together. So again, we are thrilled to be here. I do want to introduce some folks that are here so you can put names and faces, because we have a team of people that are here that are eagerly awaiting the conversation. Dr. David Christensen is our Chief Academic Officer, and Dr. Christensen is here, and he is going to help talk a little bit about the plan along with our principals. Dr. Marilyn Doyle, and I know if you just stand so people can see you, Dr. Christensen, Dr. Marilyn Doyle, she is our Executive Director for Academic Services, and she is taking over the role of Chief of Administration here at the end of the week, and so she is very much an integral part of the Academic Services plan. Katie Pearson and Kathleen Jarvis are both here. They're part of our academic services team, and they are very familiar faces in our schools, and they have been walking the halls, walking the classrooms, assisting with students and teachers throughout this journey, and so they will be very familiar faces, and they want to hear also a lot of the conversation. Our Chief of Staff, Lori Marshall, is here, and she helps with staffing our schools and making sure that we have teachers in the classroom, and she is very much a part of the Leesburg community, and so she is also here as well. We have our Chief Finance Officer, Carol McLeod. She is also here, and she assists us with providing the resources that are needed. We have board members here, I know, tonight. I see our Vice Chair, Todd Howard, is here. Roseanne Brandenburg is here. Bill Mathias is here, and we really thank them for their support. So we don't want to do a lot of talking as far as taking up that part of the evening, but we did want to give you a little bit of information to kind of get our discussion going, and Dr. Christensen is going to assist along with our principals. And our principals are all here, and I'm going to ask if our principals here in the Leesburg area will stand so we can also recognize you here. David Wardenkircher, Robert Sherman, we have Robin Myers, Melissa Desjardins, we have Barbara Longo, and Molly Cunningham, and so we're very excited to have them here. What I wanted to just share with you is that we have some significant challenges ahead of us, and we need to talk about those tonight, and that's really where we're going to spend a lot of our time. There are some things, though, that as a district and as a school region, we want to make sure that we use these as a starting point to build upon as well. And just a few highlights, specifically Leesburg High School, because we're looking at everything in a feeder pattern, if you will. Leesburg High School has made incredible gains, as our district has, in raising the graduation rate in our district. Because the bottom line is we want to make sure all our students have a high school diploma. And at Leesburg High School, they have really paid a lot of attention to that, and they increased their graduation rate another 3 percentage points this past year, and they are above the state average, and that's really where we use that as a grounding point. We also received $500,000 towards personalized learning for students, where we can actually look at a student, where their needs are, where their interests are, and to customize learning for them. This is new work for us. We were able to give 8 grants out. Carver Middle School is one of the 8 schools that received a $50,000 grant to plan personalized learning for the students at Carver Middle School, and that is a significant accomplishment. And I know Mrs. Cunningham will be working with all of you as they design that work. Carver Middle School's Beverly Shores with the robotics competitions, and they actually were competing against teams from other countries, and that's supporting the STEM initiative. So there's so many great things that are going on in our schools. We also know that we cannot remediate our way to excellence, that we must enhance, develop, and stretch all all students in our community to have many varieties of learning experiences to support their academics. And so this year, with some grant dollars we received from Walt Disney, we offered a 10-day, a 2-week extensive all-day Fine Arts Academy for students. It was held at Leesburg High School, and it was for students from Carver and Oak Park Middle School. And wow, did we see them accelerate and apply academics through the fine arts areas. So we were really pleased about that. In other areas in the academics, the Career Academies, Leesburg High School, along with a partnership with the City of Leesburg. Thank you very much for that partnership to have many of the Career Academies. And now, as a district, overall, we have tripled the number of students that are getting a post-secondary industry certification. And that means our students, your children, are being able to walk out of Leesburg High School with a post-secondary credential in hand. So those are just some of the things that we want to take from here and build upward, expand out for all students in this area. The other arena that I wanted to draw your attention to as far as college and career readiness is the college prep type of curriculum, in addition to AVID that is offered at both middle schools and the high school. We have a college partnership with the College Board for increased access to college level work for all students, and that has been at Carver Middle School and Leesburg High School, and they have been so pleased with the work at these two schools that the partnership and the College Board has said we want to extend this to all middle and high schools throughout the district. So now Oak Park will have accessibility to that as well as others. So that's really going to stretch opportunities for our students here. So we want to talk a little bit about our progress of our schools. So we want to give you a progress check of our schools and where they are right now as they stand in the Leesburg community, the Leesburg feeder pattern. So we can use this as a starting point for discussion tonight. FCAT and the school grade comes from one test score, the FCAT. And there's a formula that is driven by that, and it is for that one moment in time where students take the FCAT test, and that's where that grade comes from that is put on each individual school in our district. And that has some challenges attached to that. And one of the things that we know, that there are some gatekeepers, if you will, some checkpoints that we need to collect data from, that we need to be able to monitor and catch things early on so students don't go through many years of school before we can have some strong interventions. Here are those checkpoints, if you will. So as a community, we want to be able to report to you where we are at any given point. And as a community, we can look to these key performance indicators where we can say, okay, where are we with our students? What programs, what initiatives, what partnerships, what can each one of us do in this room together to support our children and support them up academically so that each of these checkpoints along the way, that we are making sure that they're on track. And you can see them along the continuum here, kindergarten readiness. And we are very blessed in our community to have pre-K programs for our young pre-K students. And we need to encourage that pre-K is provided for all our children in this community so that they can be ready to enter kindergarten ready. So that's one of the first checkpoints. The next checkpoint comes in 3rd grade. We want to make sure that by the time our students get to 3rd grade that they are proficient at 3rd grade. And so that's another checkpoint. Then moving into middle school, exiting middle school, that Algebra 1. Wouldn't it be great if every student in our community was ready to be enrolled in Algebra 1, which is one of the graduation requirements, in 8th grade, on grade level, and passing that and having their first high school credential before they leave middle school. That would be a powerful thing for our children. And so that is certainly one of those areas that we monitor. The English 1 pass rate, that's where we get into that literacy, that writing component, that English language arts area, and we know that that is key to success at the high school level. Then the post-secondary readiness, students' access to a rigorous curriculum that prepares them to exit high school and go into the workplace, go into technical training, go into Lake Sumter State College, go on to the university setting, go into whatever walk of life that they have selected to be. We want to make sure that they have that post-secondary readiness rate. So we'll be reporting to you on that and the numbers of students and how many, and again, we won't settle until we have 100% access on that. Industry certification, that's leaving school with a post-secondary credential to go to the workplace. And obviously their graduation rate. So these are the linkages that we have, that we know you expect from us, that we need to be reporting out on your schools and your community and on our students. And so these will be the checkpoints that we want to build programs around to support them. So I'm going to ask Dr. Christensen to come because he's going to give you the outlook and the progress report, the good, the bad, everything about the trends that we are seeing in this particular school.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Good evening. Let's try that again. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. I just want to say how inspired I am by the showing tonight. It's clear our community cares deeply about the education of our children. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm also inspired by the unified approach by these principals. They are one unified region that are going to talk to you about their plans, and they look forward to sharing those with you and also taking your questions on how we can work together to make this happen and get after this work in a unified way. We wanted to show you, there's some misconceptions about how our schools in this region have done, so I wanted to show you some data to show you the positive trends that are happening across these schools. For example, Leesburg High, which was pointed out earlier, has been on a steady rise under the leadership of Mr. Bill Miller, and you can see they're up 36 points. Now, high schools get their grades in November, December. They were a C last year, but we're very hopeful that they get the first B in Leesburg High School history, so let's give them. Carver Middle School up 6, clear improvement, has steadily improved as well under the leadership of Miss Molly Cunningham. Let's give her a hand. Oak Park Middle up 28 points. You can see they did receive an F grade, but sometimes when you see that letter, you don't see the improvement. Barbara Longo went in there. It's her first year as principal, and they did improve 28 points, and they almost got the D. They are improving, and people need to understand that. So let's thank Ms. Longo for that. Beverly Shores up 3, but did keep their D. They're on a steady improvement as well under Kathy Tatro, and let's thank her for that accomplishment. Fruitland Park up 32, that's the second highest improvement of all the elementary schools in Lake County under the leadership of Melissa Desjardins. Again, a C, almost a B, so let's thank Ms. Desjardins. Okay, Leesburg Elementary, this is, this data was not going in the right direction. We're down 50 points at Leesburg Elementary. We know there's an issue. We went from a D to an F. We do have a new leader at Leesburg Elementary. His name's Dr. Patrick Galadowicz. You are going to hear from him in a few moments. Villages Elementary, under the leadership of Mr. David Bordenkircher, has always stayed in that A-B range, has continued to improve up 28 points, B to B, so let's thank Mr. Bordenkircher. Okay, some other regional trends. What we did is we started looking at some other trends across this region. We wanted to show you, what are some things we can do across the community to help. You can see on that chart on the right, it's called chronic absentee rate. These are students that miss more than 20 days of school. So how many percentage of students are missing that many days at each level? In high school, the average for our county is 11%. Middle school, it's 11%. Elementary, it's 6%. You can see at Leesburg High, great improvement. They were almost at 23%. They're down to 13%, but they continue to want to improve there. Carver Middle, you can see the absentee rate there. Oak Park, you can see absentee rate is a concern. We got almost 20% of our students missing more than 20 days. It's hard for kids to learn if they're not in school, right?
Yeah, right.
So Beverly Shores Elementary, improvement certainly, still 10%. Fruitland Park, a low rate. We can always improve that. Leesburg Elementary, almost 10%. Villages Elementary, 9%. And you can see Rhymes had a good improvement there. The other aspect of this we wanted to point out is strong science scores at Beverly Shores and Fruitland Park, strong writing scores at Carver and Leesburg High, strong math scores at Beverly Shores and Villages, and a strong reading score at Oak Park. Some real concerns for us is improving the number of students that are proficient in reading. We really have to work on reading. Learning how to read, reading to learn, so kids can read to learn, right? So that K-3 area is very important for our community to focus on in our elementary schools to get our kids at that 3rd grade proficiency rate, because that doesn't look like it's growing, and that's affecting our reading and writing scores. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the principals to you. They're going to come up on a panel. You're going to hear from a few of them what their specific plans are for improvement, and then we're going to take some questions and comments from you on how we can work together, maybe what some concerns you have, questions, possible solutions on how we can take a unified approach to making this improvement happen, because this is a unified team that you're going to see in front of you right now. If you could give them a hand as they come up. From Leesburg High, Mr. Bill Miller. From Carver Middle, Miss Molly Cunningham. From Oak Park Middle, Miss Barbara Longo. From Beverly Shores Elementary, Miss Kathy Tatro. Elementary, Miss Melissa Desjardins. From Leesburg Elementary, Dr. Patrick Galadowitz. From Villages Elementary, Mr. David Bordenkircher. From Browns Early Learning, Mr. Bob Sherman. From Minneapolis, Miss Robin Myers. And from Humanities, Dr. Shalea Smalley. Dr. Smalley.
Have a slight change in format. Since the principals are all here, I think the Leesburg principals, some of the others, have a short presentation. They're going to tell about the improvement plan for their school. Am I correct? That's correct. So our newest principal in town, Dr. Galadowitz, is going to go first.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to just take a few minutes to give you just a little brief background, since I don't know most of you. I'm actually 30 years in education. I'm just finishing up my 30th year. I've taught and been an assistant principal and principal all in inner city schools. That's my life's work. I care about our children that don't have the same advantage that other children have. So that's my career. I plan on being in education another 15 years. My youngest is only 6, and so I'm going to be around for a long time. And I want to tell you what led me to Leesburg after a 25-year career in Orange County is prayer. And I say prayer because my fiance and I prayed about me coming here to Leesburg. As an opportunity for me to make a difference for children in another county, another opportunity to help kids that are at a disadvantage. So I'm here because I prayed about this, and my fiance and I, we just decided this is where I needed to be. And so I want to tell you that I'm very excited to be here, and I feel very blessed because I didn't just come here and feel like the stranger on the block. I've worked with these other principals here in Leesburg and in Lake County. They've been very accommodating. They've called me, they've offered me assistance as I've been working through hiring. Because we want to have a fully qualified staff to start the year. And we've already been working together and collaborating on our plans for the school year to ensure that we can work together as a team of principals to ensure that our children are getting what they need. I'd also like to just say thank you to Dr. Moxley and Dr. Christensen, Bill Mathias, and Roseanne Brandenburg from the school board. You all have helped me feel very welcome here and helped me make contact with some important people that have helped me to sort of get the ball rolling in the right place. I met with Pastor Scruggs, who's agreed to work with me with the children at Leesburg Elementary, and I'm very grateful for that. And I would like to say that I'm willing to meet with any individual person, any group, any faith-based organization, anyone to talk to you about what we can do together, how we can work together to improve our schools. And I say our schools because we're already working together, the other principals and myself and the school board, and we really appreciate that the mayor and Mayor Christian, I want to commend you for having this summit. It really touches my heart. To be the principal of Leesburg Elementary School, I came into a community that embraces and loves education. I can see by the 300 plus people that are sitting in this room, so give yourselves a big round of applause and thank you. And I just, like I say, really believe that together, and I mean together, we can make a huge difference for our children. I am committed to coming here and devoting my time and my talents and my knowledge and experience to helping our children receive the very best education possible. And I am just so thrilled that you're all here to work with us. I can tell you that we're starting off by making sure that we have a fully staffed school of highly qualified teachers. I've been working very hard this summer to hire well so that we can have the very best teachers in place at Leesburg Elementary to help our children grow. We have plans in place to address student discipline, issues of attendance, and are really, really focused with some plans to involve the community. If you want to be a mentor or a volunteer or help out at Leesburg Elementary or any of our other schools, we want you to come and join us as we together renew a commitment to making a difference for our children, because that's why we're all here, because we love children, and we love our own children, and we want them to grow up to be productive citizens here in Leesburg and around the world. So thank you for allowing me the time to talk to you this evening, and I am just very, very pleased to be here in Leesburg and to be part of helping make our educational system the best in the state. So thank you.
This is Dr. Mary Woolridge. I know they introduced you. I'm going to introduce you again because I'm going to say this because we're sitting here nervously asking, should we offer a question and answer? So I'm saying that because we want to make sure that this is a format where we can learn, listen, and go out of this place working together. So Dr. Woolridge is our moderator. So she's going to make sure things are done well. My principals are here, ready to answer questions from our audience. Pernell Mitchell, you had a piece for the community. You want to go into question and answer? You want to do your piece now?
I'll follow your program.
Okay.
You know I'm there.
Let me just say to the Leesburg Commission, y'all please stand, please. I see Jerry. We had a budget meeting. We cut short to come. Commissioner Bill Polk, we are very concerned about our schools, and we want to partner with our school district to make sure that whatever we as a city can do, that we're here, and we want to make sure the lines of communication are open For my superintendent, our school board members, most of you know our phone numbers. Please reach out and let us offer help. Let me just say, there's no big I, little you. We all in this together. If you have kids in the school system or don't have kids, we need you working together to make sure that we take our school system where they need to be. Dr. Woodridge, the floor is now yours.
Okay, we're gonna move this. Because we allowed Dr. Gladowitz to come, we're going to ask 2 more principals if they could give us 60, no, I'll give you 120 seconds. To come and share, just to say good evening, share, preferably the principal at Oak Park, thank you, Oak Park Middle School. If you'll come and give us about 20, I'll give you a little bit more, okay, 100.
Good evening. My name is Barbara Longo, and as many of my parents will tell you, they hear me every week on the phone. I am the proud principal of Oak Park, and I mean that. I am extremely proud to be at Oak Park. What Dr. Christensen led us to see with the F grade, we have a lot of positive things that F grade does not show you what has happened at Oak Park. We had a 28-point increase from last year. We had, excuse me for my notes, I won't be able to see them. We had the lowest, in our lowest 25%, we had one of the highest increases in reading in our lowest 25%, so we raised them up. Our writing, we need to work on. That's one of my plans to do. Writing and math is an area that we're going to focus on, and we're going to take care of that. Our PBS, that Ms. Carla Clark is out in the audience somewhere, who did our PBS, that is our positive behavior. We brought positive behavior back to Oak Park. We reduced the number of referrals down to 1,400 from 4,000. So what also plays into that attendance is some of the discipline that we had to get under control at Oak Park. For those of you who have come to our campus, you see the students have that pride back, and they have their respect for each other back. It is a work in progress. We have taken our arrow from going this way to going here. It may be a slight, but we are headed up. And we will come back and we will make the A. Nobody was more devastated than me. And 2 points for someone as competitive as me, those 2 points, nobody cried harder than me. Because I knew the amount of changes and how much work. My staff is here, my teachers are here, my parents are here. So I'm glad that we're here. We're working very closely with Ms. Betty Coney. We brought it in for community awareness. We've already trained the teachers. Our next phase is to get the parents involved. So I thank you for calling this summit together tonight. And I know I'm about 125 seconds. Just 2 more seconds. In the words of Kathleen Jarvis, 32 seconds. We have come, that's our next step, to get our parents to come to school. And as far as how the community can help, come celebrate with us. Check our website. Come up and celebrate our Come on up, mentor with us. Come to our extracurricular activities. Come on up, and I invite you to come see us at Oak Park in the Leesburg community, because I am very proud to be where I am, and I am meant to be where I am.
At this time, Dr. Smalley, if you come and address us.
Thank you so much, and I am certainly pleased to have this opportunity to represent the only school of its kind in the state of Florida, Humanities and Fine Arts Charter School. And I am the educational leader, and I have many parents, well-wishers, and my board here tonight. My data is not represented there, and neither is information about my school. So I want to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about our school. The mission of our school is to provide a quality education for kindergarten through 5th grade students that will promote academic success as well as creativity. The guiding principle of our school is the fact that we believe all students can learn, and we involve our board of directors, we involve our volunteers, our parents, and our community partners to help us with this. We have a rigorous interdisciplinary curriculum that not only marches to the tune of the Florida standards, but the standards for humanities, music, art, drama, and dance. In other words, this school is different in that while children are learning the core academic subjects, we infuse humanities, music, art, drama, dance into the core academic subjects. Just planting a seed that our students will be able to think about college and careers. They spend 1 hour daily in a course called Humanities and Fine Arts, where their literacy skills are enhanced, the reading, the writing, the speaking, the listening, as well as learning about cultures around the world. There is life beyond Leesburg. And so we want our children to know that, and we want them to embrace the differences and the cultures of others, as well as sharpening their creative energies in the areas of music, art, drama, and dance, their talents. Also, the difference in our school is our children are asked to declare a major. Many of you know, 14 and a half of my first 30 years were spent as a teacher educator in colleges and universities in the state of Florida, Bethune-Cookman College, my alma mater, University of Florida, my alma mater, Nova University, and University of Central Florida, where I retired 12 years ago as a teacher educator of exceptional education. So I wanted our students to think about college and careers early. So they declare a major. They have a major of music. If it is music, we are providing free piano, voice, violin, guitar, drums, flute lessons. If it is dance, they get provided the ballet, hip-hop, jazz, and tap. If it is art, they get to work in various art mediums. And if it is drama, they get to have an opportunity to be in parts of productions and the annual Academy Awards. Our students really are provided more academic hours annually than our local district schools, as well as what the state will require. So we have an extended school day, and we started with that extended school day because I believed that by the time they got into humanities and humanities, music, art, drama, dance, if they only had 30 minutes, that was not time enough to do all of the things that we needed to do. So we are an extended day school, and we started in 2010, 2011, thinking that if we started K through 2, we would have an opportunity to really build a community of learners and add to those skills each year and add 3rd grade, then 4th, then 5th. Proudly, we added our 5th grade last year, so we are now a full K through 5 school. So we had such small numbers in previous years, we were not graded on FCAT. This year, the state changed the cell size to 10, so we do have a grade this year. It is an F, and I am truly disturbed by that, but there are many causes and things that we have looked at and how we might make a difference. I can say to you that that does not tell the whole story, because 78% of our students gained anywhere from a year to 3 years in reading and in math, and only 25% only had a half year's gain. So that is the gain. I want to say to you that we are making some plans to improve our performance. One of those is we are hiring quite differently. One of the privileges we've had recently is to hire a former principal of 3 New York schools, where the superintendent over superintendents invited her to be the principal of a turnaround school. So she is our now new literacy coach and has come alongside and will work with us with curriculum. We also will be going into the homes. You know, back in the day we had home visits, and I might miss and tell my age in a moment. This is my 41st year. And so back in the day in Leesburg, we had home visits, and we're going to do them again. Because if you don't come to us, we're going to bring it to you. We have reallocated our Title I dollars, so instead of using that money for tutors on the second half of the school year, we will use it at the beginning. And I am a preacher and a pastor. I will pass the plate, so that if you are inclined to donate to a 501c3 nonprofit school, you may do so. I'll take your check afterwards. Then again, we have volunteers, and we're asking you, I'm going to have a clipboard at the end of this, asking you to come alongside and volunteer in our schools. We also will be utilizing all staff to help make this difference. I know we're short on time, but let me say something from my heart to your heart and breast to breast. I am not a transplant that has moved into the Leesburg community. I grew up here, and I am a proud product of the Lake County, Leesburg Public Schools. I went to Dabney Elementary, Rhymes Elementary, Carver Heights High School, and Leesburg High School. and went on off to college. I returned here 12 years ago as a retiree from UCF, and I came to make a difference, not only as an educator, but as a pastor. I say to you tonight, I make the analogy of a community that is wounded or that is bleeding. This is my home, and I'm not going anywhere else. I am bleeding, and Leesburg is bleeding. And the only way I believe that we can make that difference and recover from the wounds that we now suffer is to revitalize the village. In the 50s and the 60s when I grew up here, we had a village. And the village came around the bed of the schools with all of its specializations, and it helped us to educate children to produce healthy and high-achieving students. How do I know that? Because I am a product of the village. Nobody cared anything about church and state. The church was there. It wasn't there just to hold candles when somebody was killed and let's pray around the flagpole. But they were there to help us, to groom us, to help us to do dramatizations and to speak and to use our talents and our skills. Businesses and organizations came alongside to help us. And so that unit came about and produced great students. I say to you tonight, let's revitalize the village, because the village works. The village is an ER unit, and let's see it as such. Let's reach out to one another. I say to you tonight, in the words of Ron Edmonds, we can, whenever and wherever we choose, educate all children whose schooling is of interest to us. We already know enough to do it. But whether or not we do it depends on how we feel about the fact that we haven't done it so far. I hasten to add, we've done it before with so little. We can do it again, but we can do it together. I need you, Leesburg. Humanities and Fine Arts Charter School needs you, and bigger than that, the Leesburg schools need you, and we are counting on you to help us make the difference. Thank you.
Forward, and we're going to hear, before we begin all of the questions, we're going to hear from each of those persons who are going to share with us. So at this time, again, if you need a card before Mr. Purnell Mitchell comes to us, if you are in need of a card to place your question on, there are people walking down the aisles to give that card to you. So if you do that, that will help us. So if Mr. Purnell Mitchell, if you will come and share with us, and then we will move forward. Can we get him?
Never mind, I took off that jacket.
Good evening. As we look in the audience and see all your faces, we are so happy that you took out from your busy schedule to come and let's take a look as a community at this critical situation. This situation is critical. Now here's where I have to stop and make sure that my words are not lost on the moment, because I do not want to take away any of the good things that the school board has offered to us tonight. I'm trying to slow my heart rate because I'm passionate about what I'm getting ready to say to you. By no means am I pointing fingers at anyone. By no means am I being political. But a couple of weeks ago, when I read the paper on Sunday, and I saw 5 of our schools in Leesburg. I saw 1C, I saw 1D, and I saw 3 Fs. And I immediately went to Facebook, and I began to say that this is unacceptable. It is totally unacceptable. And I did not just call out our school board and our teachers and our principals, but also I called out our city commissioners and our county commissioners. And I got on the phone and I called Pastor Mayor John Christian, and I said, go to Facebook because I'm talking about you. Go to Facebook because I'm talking about you. I'm probably one of the few people in this room that can say that I did a career with the city of Leesburg. Some qualified to talk about Leesburg. And I can say that I did a career with the school board. Some qualified to talk about the school board. But more so than anything else, I'm passionate about my citizenship in Leesburg. Let me tell you why you're here tonight, and we will hear some more of the good things that are going on with the school district. But when we have 3 of our schools that receive F, that means that something is not working. Something is not right. I see the gains, and that's great. And we want to continue to move forward with those gains. But at the same time, let's begin with the end in mind. What do we see Leesburg in 5 years? What's the plan? What do we see Leesburg in 10 years? Now, the tough part for me is that I love Leesburg. And I've been here a long time, and I put 7 kids through Leesburg schools. I was fortunate. All 7 graduated and went on to college. As we look at the numbers, Dr. Mary pulled some stats for me. And when we looked at the students in Leesburg, now these are some, and I'm trying to be careful because I'm going to say some things that some other people cannot or will not say. Because I don't want to waste your time. I want you to sound the alarm to the critical situation that's going on in our community. So when we talked about this education summit, Superintendent, it just happened to be that education came first. But we're going to have another summit, and that's going to be the housing summit and the economic development summit for the city of Leesburg. Because when we think about it, when we begin with the end in mind, if you were a business owner and you were looking to relocate your business, and you were going to place your students in public school, and you had a choice between Lake, Marion, Sumter County. When you look at the scores, without having a superintendent and the school board to explain those scores to you, would you relocate your business here? If you were a doctor and you wanted to practice at Leesburg Regional Medical Center, and you want to place your kids in public school, would you select Leesburg schools? Or maybe you would select Claremont, you would live in Claremont, and you would drive to Leesburg Regional, but you would place your students, your children, not your students, your children, you would place them in the schools down in the south end of the county. Why? Because when we look at the numbers, when we look at the letter grades, it appears as if they are doing a whole lot better in the south end of the county than they are in Leesburg. I am not trying to make anybody mad. I am not trying to put anybody on the spot. But I am saying to our school board, I am saying to our city commissioners, I am saying to our county commissioners, this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. So, and I don't want to stand here and point fingers at you and then go home tonight without saying, what's the plan and what can I do to help? So we're not here to beat anybody up, but we're here to say, let's come to the table together, let's formulate a plan, and let's work together. See, when we look at that 70% graduation rate, and I'm just throwing a number out there, 70%, let's say that's the number, 70%. That's good. But it's the 30% that I'm concerned about. It's the 30% that I'm concerned about. And let me tell you why. I was at the meeting this morning in Claremont. And on the ballot coming up soon will be the 1 cent sales tax. And you got to go and vote And you got to decide whether you're going to extend that sales tax. Well, a little bit about the sales tax is 1/3 goes to the county, 1/3 goes to the school district, and 1/3 goes to the municipalities. When we look and see, as a community, what that 1 cent sales tax did in Lake County, we have built a great addition to our courthouse. We've done a great job. The problem is, you can stand in the parking lot of the courthouse and throw a rock in either direction and hit a dilapidated school. So when we talk about what's going on in Leesburg, thank you for this. But what are we going to do about that 30%? I was very angry when I read those numbers. When I went to the meeting this morning, one of the questions come up was about the collegiate high school. And it's being, correct me if I'm wrong, Superintendent, because I don't want to give a false information, but we're looking at the south end of the county to partner with the hospital down in the south end of the county to put the collegiate high school. And with that, there's going to be academies for medical and all sorts of great things. And I became angry because I said, because the school district is going to partner with Lake Sumter State College to make that happen. And as a Leesburger, is that right? Leesburger? Yeah, right, I just made one up. As a citizen of Leesburg, I became angry because I said that we have a great hospital right here in Leesburg. It says remarkable people with remarkable care. And not only that, the main campus of Lake Sumter State College is in Leesburg. So my question to you is, what shining star can we point to in Leesburg and say, that's what's going to draw people to our city? That's what's going to make people want to come and buy a home here and open a business in Leesburg. What do we have? And again, this is not the school board that's alone. This is the city commissioners, Mayor Christian, county commissioners. So when the budgets are being set, what are we doing in Leesburg? Which also means that we got to do something as a community to help out our school district. We got to do something in the community that says we care about what's going to happen. And in 5 years, we don't want a C, a D, and 3 Fs. In 5 years, see, because if you look at for 5 years from now, if you think that nothing is going to change, then you can go from this meeting and do absolutely nothing. You don't have anything to do. You just go back home and it will change. But it will change for the worse. But if you say in 5 years we want 3 A's and 2 B's, that means, excuse me, Pastor, that means that you got to get off your tail and go to work. You got to go to work. And you won't be able to point fingers at our school district and say it's your fault that we have 3 L's and a C and a D. You got to look at the man in the mirror and say, what can I do? You got to go back to your churches. You got to go back to your civic organizations. You got to go back to whatever group you belong to and say that we are going to partner with our school district and we're going to make Leesburg the shining star of Lake County once again. Would look at Leesburg and say, we want to be like them. I remember being the largest city in Lake County. I remember as a police officer having the finest equipment, the finest education. And the other departments looked at Leesburg and said, we want to be like them. Guys, we are not in that situation anymore. We got 3 F's, a C, and a D. And as I started this, that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable from our school district. It's unacceptable for my parents and our community leaders. I am sounding real loud. I am saying that we have to go to work, and we have to go to work now. Because if we wait 5 years, that puts us in the hole 10 years. If we wait 10 years, we're in the hole 20 years. Who want to sacrifice their kids for that? See, that 70%, we're doing a great job. When I look at the numbers, let me point out Leesburg High School. AP exams. In 2013, 96 kids passed the AP exams. Student passed the AP exam. In 2014, they had a game. Great job, Mr. Biller. They had 116. 20 more students passed the AP exams. They're going to college. They're going to do well in college because we have prepared those students in the AP classes, in our honors classes, we have prepared them well. Do not stop doing that, Superintendent. We want you to do that. But tell me how many did not pass regular classes. Not the AP classes, but the regular classes. That's what I want. Because if we don't focus on those students, your penny sale tax will be used in another 10 years to build another addition to the courthouse. It will be used to put more police officers on the street. Because if you don't educate them, if you don't give them an opportunity, we're going to send them in when they're not enough. I'm not a betting man. I'm going to say this and I'm going to close. I'm not a betting man. But out of that 116 students at Leesburg High School, which is a small fraction, out of that 116 who passed those AP classes that are going on to college, I guarantee you, when they graduate college, 20 will not return to Leesburg. 20 will not return to Leesburg. So we're doing good for Atlanta. We're doing good for New York. We're doing good for LA. We are preparing some of the brightest minds for those cities. But what are we going to have to deal with in 5 years with that student who did not graduate high school? That student who did not pass the FCAT, did not get into Lake Sumter State College, we're going to have to deal with it. They say, well, Fernell, you're a bail bondsman. You are going to deal with it. But I tell you what, I'm a bail bondsman and my wife and I own 2 other businesses. It will not hurt my feeling at all if you put me out of the bail bond agency because we graduated our students. This is a rally cry. This is critical. Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, principals, for everything that you're doing. Community, roll your sleeves up, take your tie off, and let's go to work. So when we call on you and say that we have something at Oak Park Middle School, and they need 50 volunteers, we ought to have to turn away people because we got too many volunteers. Are you committed for the long haul? Because if you're not, then you could have stayed home, made spaghetti dinner for your kids, and enjoyed your garlic bread. If you're here as a spectator, we want you to become an activator. We want you to go to work, and we're going to support our schools. Guys, this has nothing to do with politics. It has nothing to do with personalities. It has everything to do with the future of our kids. And if you don't educate them, I forgot this very important one. Because you got a time on me. When I look at these numbers, and I said that I'm going to say some things that some other people will not say, Linda Shepard, one of the best principals that, in my opinion, it's great when you have so many people celebrating your life. Linda Shepard told me about 15 years ago. She pulled me into her office and she said, Colonel, these are the numbers that nobody's willing to talk about. 15 years ago, she showed me those numbers. In every category, the African American male was last. He was last. Except in the disciplinary category. He was last in every grade level, almost on every test, and nobody wanted to talk about it. Nobody wanted to do anything about it. So let's celebrate this. But as an African American male, I can say, boy, pull your pants up. Boy, sit your behind down. Boy, let's go to work. Please do not be afraid to call on us, because we want to be the ones who are going to help you to turn this around. Leesburg will not be last. Leesburg will not be last. I am ashamed of where we are right now. I am encouraged about where we are headed. And with the great people just like you, who are saying that I am committed, we can turn this around. Yes. We can do it. So we came to you last year, Apostle Williams and I got to tell you we were disappointed. Because we had 300 African American males. It's hot in here too. We had 300 African American males that we wanted to work with on the weekend. We did not get the partnership that we needed from you. We did not get the partnership. And I'm saying this publicly, and I'm telling you that we're coming back to you again, because it was not a one-shot deal for us. We got committed. We're going to make it right. So, Superintendent, we're going to have that summit again. And we're going to come to you again. And I hope, I know that we're going to get the support that we need from you in order to make this successful. Now you can ask your question about the fluffiness. So, let's celebrate this, but that other percentage, and I say fluffiness, I'm not by any means deriding this, but I am saying, let's celebrate this, but the other percentage on the opposite side, let's tighten up. Let's go to work. Let's do it. Leesburg is the greatest city in Lake County, and we're going to prove it. Commissioner, we're going to prove it. Somebody tell Commissioner Tim Sullivan, I'm on a roll. Somebody tell Commissioner Tim Sullivan that we missed him tonight. Because when they're talking about the budget in Lake County, oh, there he is. There he is. Commissioner. It started from social media. It started from Facebook. So not only do we have the county commissioner, school board, city commissioner, we have the United Way, we have the Chamber of Commerce. We have brought people together who said, let's roll up our sleeves and let's go to work. Thank you very much.
There's a representative from United Way. We have one more speaker, I think, and then we will go right into our questions. Again, we are still passing the questions. If you would like a response to your question that you're giving us, put your email address or something on the card so that we can make sure that we get those responses to you. Immediately after this speaker, we will then go and begin to start getting the questions. So I'm praying for all of you at this table right now. It's not that bad.
And I'm going to be very quick because I'm not sure exactly how I'm supposed to follow somebody as passionate as Mr. Mitchell. So I just want to say I'm Mariah Delgado, and I work with United Way of Lake and Sumter counties. In the last couple years, we have made our focus education. We've been developing and refining and working with our schools, and we've made some great strides towards developing those programs. But what we need is community input, and I'd really like to take this time now, it's very exciting for us, to introduce our new CEO, and her name is Anna Maria Moran. One quick thing that everybody always finds interesting. Quick, I know, this one's interesting. We did a lot of research and kind of focused more on elementary schools. Come on, Anna, come on up. And one of the reasons we've been kind of focusing on third grade reading proficiency is because in our research we found that they decide how many prisons should be built based on third grade reading levels. It takes many years to build a prison, all that work that goes behind it, so they look at the literacy levels at third grade, and that's how they decide the prisons to build. So anyway, once again, here's Anna Maria Moran, our new CEO.
I'm in this intensive care unit at this point. So, but I was a teacher. I was a school principal. I was a school principal of a bilingual school. So I had to work with 2 languages and teaching kids to read and write in 2 languages. And you can do that, and you can also do it very well if you have all the elements together to do it. But particularly, and most of all, I believe in the parents being an integral part of the education. I just got back to the States 2 years ago because my youngest son is a veteran of the Gulf and he needed help. And I had a little grandson who he had not met. And I had to work very closely with the young child because he was very confused and his father was sick. So I decided, why don't I teach him? Why don't I become his teacher? At 5, he's fully bilingual, he reads and writes in both languages. And this was just the care of a grandparent who had to be a parent for a couple of years. I think not only parents, but grandparents like me can make a huge difference. And we have hundreds and probably thousands of grandparents in this area that could be part of our education initiatives also. And we have to bring them in, we have to find a way to bring them in. The reason why I was recruited is because of my educational background. Because United Way has decided that we want to be part of this effort. That there is no meaning to us being a leader in the community if we're not part of this effort. We are testing the waters right now. We have just invested a small amount of money this first semester of this year, the last semester, and we're now evaluating our results. I'm going to be visiting all the school principals that are part of our project. I'm going to be sitting with them and trying to see how we can make this better for next year. We're going to triple the money that we're going to put in next year. And by 2015, all our general fund money is going to go into education in Leesburg. Please help me out at the intensive care unit. I hope I can visit with all of you. I hope that I can be an integral part of your community. I've been part of communities all over the world. I manage an educational program in the Amazon with universities and teacher trainings programs. So if I survive the Amazon, I'm sure I can survive this. So, thank you so much. I'm hoping to meet with you and to be part of your community.
Please avail yourselves of all of the advantage of it. Our first question tonight, before I get into the ones in my hand, will come from John Christensen, Commissioner. Christian.
Before we begin, of course, I got one thing I'd like to make an announcement, and thanks to the superintendent, Bill Mathias and Roseanne. Dabney Elementary, we know, has been vacant for a very long time, sits in the middle of our community of Heritage Estates in East Leesburg. We have Ken Thomas still here. Ken, stand up, Ken Thomas. Charles Wright here. Ken is a housing manager for the city of Leesburg. We work with Florida A&M University and Central Florida Health Alliance to actually approach the school board and bring FAMU here in the Leesburg community as a permanent location to help our hospital educate nurses so they don't have to go out of the area, phlebotomists, for certification. Leesburg, we're serious about Leesburg. Born and raised here. My parents are here, and we're excited about the Florida A&M opportunity to come here and educate students who may not be able to go to Tallahassee or anywhere else or do online. But so we're excited about the school board. I thank you, Matthias, for saying, hey, we got an opportunity, and I think they gave us 3 months. For Florida A&M to make a presentation. The city of Leesburg is 100% behind that effort. So we thank the school board for working with our city, our community to make that happen at Dabney. But I do have a question. This is for Principal Miller, and he's smiling. I have 2 kids at Leesburg High School. One just graduated a few years ago. But we talked about the data of the absentee of our students. And I think one thing that in Orange County, what happens in Orange County, and Lake County, we must understand Leesburg is different than many others. Lake County is different than Orange County. We have specific issues. One thing about absentee is if you get, correct if I'm wrong, 3 unexcused absences is an automatic F. So if I miss the first week of school, why would I go back the rest of the 9 weeks if I got an F? So what Orange County does, that mandate is not in Orange County. If they miss 3 unexcused absences and can still pass the test, still do the work, they go on. Lake County, for whatever reason, we have not adjusted our thought process to keep up with what's happening in our communities. So Principal Miller, maybe you can answer that. You know, I know
I don't know if this is on. Is this on? You got this? Yeah, Pastor, I agree with your analysis of that situation, and it's not a good situation. And it's one that I don't personally agree with, because I see the same thing. It is a Lake County policy that applies all across Lake County. I do see the same thing. Kids give up. Why bother? Especially when they're sitting there with a daily average of a 93 and a 59 gets slapped on there. They demonstrated mastery of the work, bottom line. So I would be in favor of a much more proficiency-based accounting system, or even A, B, C's, and D's sometimes are misleading. I mean, that's one of the things I think our parents struggle with. You know, what does a B really mean? What benchmarks has my kid not mastered? You know, you get a B or a C, that really doesn't tell you. It really doesn't tell you what you need additional help in. But as far as the 59 situation, I would be in agreement. I know the superintendent's right here, but I would be in agreement with throwing that thing to the curb because our kids don't like it, our teachers don't like it. I don't know if there's a consensus across the high school schools, but I do know there are other voices along the same lines that express that same concern. You're meeting mastery, you're demonstrating proficiency, but yet we'll give you 59. And it's just not consistent with our mission, which is trying to find success in all kids. That's trying to find our success in all kids. So it's inconsistent with our mission.
Thank you very much. Our first question from the audience has to do with technology. And not sure who or if you would like to answer this. Is there a plan in place to introduce more and new learning tools in our schools, such as iPads? Is there a plan in place to introduce more up-to-date technology with our young people?
I would be very pleased to answer that. The superintendent shared with you when she was speaking that Bill and Melinda Gates have a competitive grant that Lake County has been fortunate enough to be a part of. Carver Middle School is one of 8 schools here in Lake County that's going to be making a presentation in a couple of months directly to hopefully Mr. Gates. If we are successful, we will receive $500,000 for personalized learning. Our plan as a part of that is to buy a device for all of our students, so that means every student at Carver will have a device. And then we are implementing, we're in the process right now. The superintendent mentioned that we have been given money to plan this. What that means is that we're going to travel around the country to other schools that already have this program in place, and we're going to get their best and bright ideas. Board member Roseanne Brandenburg has already signed the form of her commitment to help us with this. Pastor Christian, I have yours on my desk. I'll get with you tomorrow so that you can sign it. We are looking forward to getting that grant and to being able to start that at Carver Middle, and hopefully there will be other schools here in the Leesburg area that will be able to also be a part later on.
I'm not sure if there is a timeline for adding the additional schools, or if we are also waiting for the partnership from other funding agencies. Can you speak to that? Or is there a timeline for bringing the other schools up to date technologically?
One of the areas that I really want to extend appreciation to the city of Leesburg is for the connectivity that we are able to connect all our schools now. So that's one of the major pieces that we need to start with is the infrastructure, so that our students with their devices, whatever those devices are, and there isn't a one-size-fits-all, that we have that broad-based connectivity and that Wi-Fi access for our students. each one of our schools, they have the plan to look at how can we use technology as a tool to be able to open up different types of learning styles and information. Many of our schools have already started the bring your own technology type of device, where students can use the device that they may have and bring it into the classroom. You know, it used to be that we said no cell phones, no this, no that. You know, you had to turn off and power down when you came to school. And now we're saying no, because we have connectivity, we're able to take those types of tools and bring them and use them in the classroom. We certainly do not have enough at this point in time, and we are continuing to look for grant-funded sources, just like Mrs. Cunningham mentioned. The criteria that the 8 schools have with their plans is that it must be able to build capacity and sustainability so they can be replicated from school site to school site. So actually, Mrs. Cunningham, their site will become a demonstration or a model that we will replicate across. So this will be going on over the next several years.
Thank you. And I don't know if you should stay right here. Because the follow-up question to that, and you alluded to that, was will there be intensive professional learning for the teachers? Because in many cases, the young people are further along in the use of technology. Do I have a witness? Yeah, witness, lot of hands and witnesses. Than sometimes the teachers. And we don't want to lose because there is a gap there. So, aligned with that thinking, is there a plan to complete that process as well?
Professional development is ongoing, and I don't think that we'll ever have enough of it, and I don't think you'll ever see an ending time to it, because those of you that know about technology, it is ever evolving, and you know, and it's intuitive to our students, but not necessarily to me or to some of the adults. So as we're bringing online, in fact, this summer we've had a lot of training opportunities as we are moving and implementing new software types of arenas where we can teach our teachers, teach our staff how to use that software and implement that. One of the initiatives that we just submitted is a $4.5 million grant for, just like we talked about with Ms. Cunningham, personalized learning for students. If you're going to provide that structure and that framework for students that's customized and tailored for them, that means a new way of a delivery model, a new way of instruction, a new way of teaching by the adults, and they have to go hand in hand. So the $4.5 million grant that we just submitted is called IPD, Innovative Professional Development, and it is looking at professional development for teachers and leaders for that personalized learning piece as well. So that's another major component. As we implemented a new structure called Safari Montage, that is more of a different type of learning, distance learning kind of structure where you can bring resources, you can connect people that are not present in the room, so you can branch out student to student, school to school, that type of thing. We have ongoing training. Again, that's been phasing in, so there's a lot of different training opportunities, but we're really at the start of a lot of this work.
And I can appreciate the integrity of that statement to say we're at the beginning of this. We're moving forward, however, we are at the beginning of this, and so I appreciate you sharing that. So we're not coming to the schools looking for us to be already in the 22nd century, and we're still, you know, where we are. I'm not going to say where we are. Okay, at this time, thank you for joining me. What specifically, and this is to the principal of Leesburg Elementary, so I thought I'd get Dr. Moxley off the hook for just a second. What specifically is your plan, in a nutshell, 60 seconds, because you have already proven to us tonight that you are verbal. So what specifically is your plan for improving Leesburg Elementary? How will you improve behavior and student achievement scores?
60 seconds. Here we go. There are many facets that go into making those improvements. One, we have to have a well-qualified staff. We're in the process of ensuring that we have a well-qualified staff. The second part of that is to help our children understand that they have some rights and some responsibilities as students. The right they have is to receive a high-quality education. Their responsibility is to come to school and be respectful and follow the rules and participate in the education process. We are committed to creating a set of procedures and rules and consistent policies that help our students to see and understand that we're going to follow up and work with them and work with their families so they can come to school focused on learning and focused on an education. And our teachers can be focused on instructing students with the Florida standards in a high level of rigor so that they can be successful. And it's going to take all those pieces working together. That's it in 60 seconds. If you want more detail, come see me.
And you know where he is. So I'm sure you will go and see him. Discipline. Not just the students, but discipline. Many of our parents are very young and need lots of help themselves. How can you, as educators, help to change the culture with our parents so that they can be better parents, better role models, better educators to our children? There's some other parts to this, but I think I want to start there and allow someone on the panel to address that with our parents.
As I spoke, as we said before, when I spoke about Betty Coney doing a workshop with my teachers and getting community awareness, we are now putting in a piece. We had a 50 community member come up to Oak Park for a breakfast, seeing how we can help the community, how do we make an awareness, how do we help our parents. So we came together and we brainstormed, and we have a page, and Betty, if you will help me out, it's about got 50, 60 names on it, that if my parents come to me and say, I need assistance with this, we can look on this sheet and say, this is a member of our community who has pledged they're going to be a partner with us. This is where you can go to get assistance for this. And I want to touch on the technology piece too. Oak Park, we have put together over 200 iPads that are used in the classrooms throughout with our students. It's also got laptops in there. And all our Title I schools, we have a family school liaison. And in there, our students that don't have the iPads at home or the laptops, they can go into this portable and check out these iPads, laptops, so they can do the work that they're doing in the class. They can take it home, parents can check it out. So we're trying to make an awareness of what we have at our school. So that's how we're going to try to assist with our parents who come to us and let us know and bring that to that community.
Going back to the discipline, I think that we have a real learning opportunity for all of us, because as adults and as parents, we're learning and we go through many different experiences, and I think this is an opportunity where we all kind of come together and provide that support for our young families that have children in our schools. And whether you want to call it a parent night or a learning center or something of that nature, where we can provide support, training, just an opportunity for parents to come together and have a conversation with people that have been through and raised children, to say, hey, I'm really struggling with this, and how can I, what strategies or what support or what words of wisdom. And I think there's a real opportunity that we can do it from the schoolhouse, partners with the community, partners with the churches, to really say, what are the needs of our young families, and how can we provide support and information to them.
And just to add to that, many times we think that it is a parent who has to actually be physically at the school. Parents can support their children, though they are not physically volunteering at the school by ensuring that they get a good breakfast, that they get to school, and we help out those attendance numbers up there to ensure that they follow through by doing the homework that the teachers have assigned. And if a parent does not understand an assignment, it is the parent's role to ask for help. And I know that looking at this team up here, it is not going to be like one of the cards that I received that said that parents reach out and don't receive help. So I am looking at a team that looks like they would not reject any parents who reach out but don't have the knowledge base to speak the language that all of you speak. And so when the parents come, you are going to assist them in ensuring that they are able to be successful with their children.
Mary, can I just follow up?
Sure.
I'd just like to say, I know I speak not just for myself, but my colleagues that are here with me. I can't imagine us ever turning away from a parent that asks for help. We are here. That's the first thing. And then the other thing is this is a call for help from all of you. You may know families where the parent isn't willing to ask for help, maybe not willing to come to the school. I'd like to know who those families are so I can reach out to them. Okay, I'm willing to come to your churches, to a service organization, to a group meeting, to a homeowners association meeting, to talk about what can we do as families to support our children. I am here 24/7, 7 days a week. If you want me to come on Sunday or Saturday or any night of the week, we're here to work together. Okay, so I'm not just saying you help us. We're willing to help back. This is a community effort, and we have to work together.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for saying that, because it is a partnership, and it takes everybody in the room to make sure, and those who are not here, to ensure that all of our children are successful. It is a partnership. Parents, grandparents, educators, principals, teachers, teachers' assistants, custodians. Who wants to go to school in a nasty school? That's not the learning environment that our children can learn in. So every facet, every phase of what is done on that campus is extremely, extremely important. And we've got time for just a few more questions. But this isn't the last meeting. So we're going to be doing some things, and I say doing because that's an action word. We're not just going to be talking, we will be doing some things to make a difference in the lives of our young people. Principals, you may answer, some of you may answer this question. I know Dr. Moxley has an idea, but she has spoken quite often tonight. What is the plan for the additional hour of time that has been mandated for our schools? How will that time, I know what the state says, Dr. Christensen, if you would like to. What is the actual, we know what the state says you're supposed to do at that time, but how will that time be structured here in Lake County in the schools that we're most here about tonight?
Good evening, thank you. I just want to let everyone know that we actually got clarification from the state today that our board took a proactive measure to standardize all bell schedules across Lake County and increase instructional time for kids at every level. The state recognized that, and actually we have more than enough instructional minutes above and beyond what the state required for that additional hour. So we do not need that additional hour. It's actually already built in to the proactive increase that we put in instructional time for the 14-15 year. So if we can thank the board and the superintendent for the foresight with that. this isn't just these 3 schools that have been identified. This is every child across Lake County will now have the same start time, end time, and get the same amount of instruction above and beyond what they've ever received before. What I do want to say, however, is referring to reading in general, and this really goes out to what you can do at home to help your students. We're in these schools, we're going to be letting you know, from pre-K to 6, all students across our district will have access to a reading adaptive technology called iStation. This is going to improve kids' reading, their fluency levels, is individualized to the needs of kids. Now obviously you need technology to access it, but it's individualized to each need of every child. So that's number 1. iStation will be available for all kids across our district, pre-K to 6. In 6 to 12, our students will have access to what's called Metametrics Guided Literacy, okay, or Achieve 3000. Some of you may be familiar with either of those, but Achieve 3000, again, is an adaptive technology, individualized, where kids can get on after school and on the weekends to improve their reading skills. Because that's the bottom line, what we need to get after is kids' ability to read and basically love for reading. Some of these technologies actually are exciting and innovative, and kids enjoy the incentives that are built into it for them. So I really encourage you to follow our lead. The principals are going to let you know more information on this, but all your children can access these tools from home. They can improve their reading.
The other thing too is that Dr. Christensen talked about, that these tools are available for students after school and at home. And we recognize that some of our children don't have technology at home. So one of the things that we need to look at as a community, that in our library system, there are banks of computers there. And if in any of our after-school programs, any of the community areas that we can make available to give that 24/7 access. Now I know not in the middle of the night, but I mean on weekends and in the evenings, and so that if there are students that you work with or that you're interacting with, is to encourage them and having that adult encouragement to say, hey, Susie, let's sit down here and tell me about this reading, and I've heard about this program, and look here, we have a computer right here. Why don't we take 15 minutes and let's read together? Let's do some of those things. That 15 minutes will pay huge dividends, and it's 15 minutes here and 15 minutes there, and it's just having that adult encouragement. So we will make sure that everyone in the community knows how to access these programs from the library system, from communities, from your churches, from all the after-school care programs. And this community is very supportive that way. Dr. Christensen talked about we don't have to add the extra hour on top of what we already do because of the length of our day that we did for next year. There are some requirements with some very structured reading time that has to be built into their schedule. And so each one of the principals in the schools where that applies, they will be doing some very targeted reading instruction.
Thank you again. All right, couple of points, and we're going to be allowing you to leave. We're going to wrap it up. Just to add to the reading, if you don't have the internet at home and you cannot access the internet, don't let that be an excuse for your student not to learn to read. If you have a CD player, a DVD player, a telephone that has the internet on it, a book. If you don't have a book, if you don't have a book and you have a pastor, go to him when you see him tomorrow or Sunday and say, Pastor, I need a book. Parents, if you don't have time to read to your children, get an audio book, ebook, while you're cooking. Let it read to them so they can hear the words They can hear the words pronounced correctly so that when they see it in print, they will have less issue with trying to read what is in print. Because if we say dat, D-A-T, don't we say dat? Yes, we say dat. Go get that book off the table. And they see T-H-A-T, they're wondering, what is that word? So please allow them to hear it correctly so that they can make the connections when they are reading it. Let them listen to it over and over and over and over. They will learn to read quicker. Moving right to charter schools, several questions on how will the charter schools be included in the school district's plan? Will resources and information be shared equally? And how will the school district assist charter schools with funding for additional programs?
We include all our charter schools in access to our principal meetings. And in fact, Dr. Smalley is at every one of our principal meetings, so that as we're doing in-services and trainings and those kinds of things, she's right along with us. We've had several things that we've included, Dr. Smalley, and as we've been looking at what the requirements are for the extra hour. In fact, Dr. Smalley has been doing some research. She's been sharing with us. We have been sharing with her. So we are in this together. I mean, we're kind of walking hand in hand because this is the first time we've been going down this avenue, and we want to collaborate very much. This team of people up here, they are aligned, they're working together, and certainly our charter school is very much a part of that discussion, and we embrace that. You asked about funding, and certainly there is never enough funding for any one of us, any one of the schools. The way the funding works for charter schools is that the money comes into the district, and it basically is a pass-through and goes to the charter school, so they receive all their funding. So the funding that we use at the district to go to the schools for those additional resources comes out of the same pot of money that comes to the district. The charter schools and the humanities is no different. They get their full pot of money, and so those resources are there for their governance model and that. But we certainly will be walking hand in hand, sharing the collaboration here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question. As Dr. Moxley said, we receive our funding through the district, and then we, as a board, have to be sure that we use those resources as much as we possibly can. The difficulty is, with a school like Humanities, it's a very small school. We tend to have not had more than 159 students. And we have a rigorous program, and we're offering things in addition to what those dollars would pay for. So unless we are in a fundraising, constant fundraising mode in order to be able to do some of the unique things we want to do, then we would be at a disadvantage. The good thing is that we are a part of the principals' meetings and all of the wonderful training. This is one of the finest academic teams that I've seen in a long time. And so we have an opportunity to be party and privy to that, and we're thankful for that. But we do need additional dollars to do the kinds of things that you are rolling out. We're happy about the fact that we have an opportunity to participate. But participation, with that comes additional fees that are in addition to the kinds of things we already pay for. So it makes it very difficult to be able to do it. But I say to you tonight, we are committed, and we will find a way to do it to make that difference. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to actually close this particular part of this. However, this does not end here. This does not end here. And for those of you who have submitted questions and we were not able to get to your questions, because I'm telling you, you absolutely submitted your concerns on cards. We will not let it end here. We will be meeting with the district persons to try to get answers for you. So when we have our next forum, our next meeting, we will be bringing these answers back to you. In the interim, find a school near you, whether you have children there or not, and get involved. Get involved. If you have a business, if you own a business, take your business dollars, because you can write them off. You need a write-off. So take some of your business dollars. Dollars are actually restricted to certain categories when they get to the schools. But there are times when they can do little perk things for their teachers that can't come out of their normal budgets. I'm an educator, y'all. I'll be one until I die. So please, go to the schools. Where can we add $5, $20, $2,000, $20,000, $200,000, yes, $2 million to your budget to help you educate our children? Teachers are critical. Please. Teachers are critical. Support them in every way. When our children teachers are the conduit. They are on the front lines with our children. Principals are roaming around, they're visiting classrooms, but teachers are on the front lines. Let's encourage our administrators to ensure that our teachers get everything they need in the classroom to educate our children. If they're in the middle of a lesson and they need something run off real quick, guess what? Everything stops to get it run off, to get it back to that teacher, so that they can have what they need to make sure that our children do. Yes, that's the way it was in my school. Everybody stopped for the teacher. In closing, I want to say thank you to Mr. Purnell Mitchell, to Apostle Danny Williams. I want to say, Apostle Danny, you haven't said a thing. Can you just please stand up? Oh, he's coming. He wasn't on my list, so I just thought I'd recognize him. But he's coming. But thank you to all of you for coming out. Please, I can't say it enough, please don't let this be the last time that you attend one of these. Thank you for allowing me to be your moderator, and thank you all for being here, and thank you, because you are the most important people here tonight, other than the children that we are here for. Thank you.
Real quick before we leave, just wanted to acknowledge Leisha from the Senate, Miss Leisha. She's from the Early Coalition of Lake County that are based here in Leesburg, Florida. She wanted me to let everyone know we work well with her with the Kids of Distinction Child Care Center, and learning starts early. Before kindergarten, learning starts early. So if you have families in your congregation that you know who may fall in the socioeconomic area where they can't afford child care, they provide subsidized care for those families. So please see the Early Coalition, phone in 435. Thank you, Leisha. And as we were saying, we heard a lot of things. I talked to Vance, and we were talking about prioritizing all that we heard here tonight so we can harness this energy or harness this information for our Leesburg schools and to our principals. We thank you for taking your time out to be with us. You know that we're here, and if you need any of these pastors, can you please stand? I'm a pastor, I gotta recognize pastor. Pastor, come on, Hurley, stand up, service. Pastor Williams, Pastor Lonnie Smith is president of our Leesburg Ministry Alliance. We are here, and Pastor Andrews, God bless you. We are here to support. We're our teachers. Can you please stand? Our teachers, can you please stand? We're not here immune to the problem. We know there's a big problem with parental support, with returning phone calls, coming to the schools. We're here to offer our help as a community. Many times pastors can kind of encourage our members to be better parents, to be more supportive. Please call on us. If you don't know who the parents or pastor that pastor person is, call myself. We will find out who their pastor is. Call Pastor Hurley there. We will find them. If not, if we say we're everybody's pastor. So whether you believe or not, we're still your pastor. Amen. Amen. So just call us. And Ms. Cunningham, I will be to see you tomorrow to sign my form at 9 o'clock to sign up. So we want more of you to get involved because that's what's going to really change this. We don't want this to be rhetoric. We just talking. But the city of Leesburg, I can tell you, we are committed to our local schools, the Chamber of Commerce, wave hand Sandy Moore, the Chamber of Commerce, the Freddie Wilson Boys and Girls Club is here. We are taking community responsibility for some of our children. So believe me, Leesburg has always been in the forefront of children education, and we haven't gone anywhere, and we're here. So Commissioner Pope, JC's always been there offering money and support. One thing I want to say, and possibly to come and give us our benediction, final words. Dr. Wood's going to come real short and brief between the two of us. But one thing in Orange County was incentivizing our children. For a third grader to say you get a good score, perfect score, that may not make him go above beyond. But if you say, you know what, we're going to offer you a trip to Legoland, a trip to Busch Gardens, that's where we also can helping our schools provide incentives to make sure our children are excited about sitting down, taking a test. So we need everyone to help our schools. So we're here to offer our assistance. Dr. Woodridge is coming, and then Pastor Williams, we're going to go. Come on, say go home.
Just in case some of you want, here's some data from the 2011, 2012, 2013 school year, and there you can look at trends for Beverly Shores, Humanities and Arts School, Leesburg Elementary, and Oak Park, as well as Lake County and the state of Florida. And if your child took the FCAT, don't look at the school's grade and say, oh, my child is wonderful, or my child is not wonderful. Look at your child's FCAT score. And if you do that, then you'll know what your child did. So pick these up in the back if you're interested in these test scores. Apostle Williams.
All right. You ready to go show me a sign? Let me say it very quickly. I got caught up in all of this with a phone call as well from Purnell Mitchell, his passion. He and I, Pastor John, began to meet and strategize. I don't make it a point to try to be up front. I tell people that I'd rather speak less than be heard a lot, than speak a lot and be heard less. And so, but I appreciate them and I appreciate all of you. And I believe that we are here tonight to go forward from here and to build a better tomorrow for our children of today. It would be an indictment against all of us to come out here tonight and go through all of this and to listen to all of this and express all of this and then walk out of here and do the same old thing. Insanity is doing the same thing but expecting different results. If we want better, then we've got to do better. So with that being said, let's stand to our feet and give a welcome Moxley, to you, your staff, again, to all of the principals.